Hello fish fools, Jeff here. So this is my hoard of fish tanks and aquarium supplies, and my cat creature chilling on top. So some of you may know, some of you who watch the videos on my channel already know that I suffer from MTS, multi-tank syndrome. I have 9 tanks set up, but you may not know that goes a little bit beyond that, because I have this hoard of tanks that are not even set up. So I have 5 aquariums here. Some of these I've had for a while. This one I just got a couple weeks ago at my local fish store, a 10-gallon. But I've had this 20 long and this 29 I got from Petco, the $1 per gallon sale, and this is a 20 high kit that I got almost 2 years ago. Got that on sale from PetSmart for $50 on Black Friday of 2017. And over here I have another 5.5 gallon. This is basically the same type of tank, those 2 kits. But this, I already have one of these set up. I have my white clouds, guppies, and pleiades in my 5.5 gallon. And this is open because the one I already have set up, the light wore out. So I went in here and took out the hood with the working light to replace that. But yeah, so, and then, inside the aquariums I have a bunch of supplies. Along the way I've made a bunch of unboxing videos where I kept buying stuff. I mean, that's how much I am into this aquarium hobby. I was always looking at Doctors Foster's and Smith in particular when they existed, and got a bunch of deals, knowing that I would be getting more tanks set up in the future. So, as I mentioned, I have 9 aquariums set up already, and each time I set up a new tank, I think to myself, just one more. Okay, this will be the last one, because I live in an apartment, and I do intend to move, and then, I don't want to, when I do move, I don't want to have to move a bunch of aquariums that are set up. But I do know that eventually I'm going to have well beyond the 9 tanks I already have set up. So that's why I keep buying stuff, knowing that I'm going to, use them, and I have plans for them. So I guess part of the reason why I'm showing this today is because I'm getting the feeling like I want to set up another tank. For one thing, when I got this 10-gallon, I feel like I need to set up a quarantine tank, so I figured that would end up being another tank I'd set up, because I keep setting up quarantine tanks and then they just convert into regular tanks. But I do still want to try to have a dedicated quarantine tank that doesn't end up being occupied with fish. But then I was thinking, maybe I'll set up this 20 long. Then I'm like, if I'm just going to do that, I might as well do this 29, because right now I'm thinking I want to set up another community tank, and I'm going to show you why that idea has come into my head. Okay, so I was thinking I want to set up another community tank and put one here in my living room. So this is my fireplace that I don't intend to use this winter. I didn't use it last winter, and part of that reason for that is a lot of my tanks don't even have heaters, so I've been keeping the temperature around 72 in the winter. And then if I'm not going to use this, this would be like a perfect place to put an aquarium. And this is 15 inches, this platform right here. So a 20 or a 29 is 12 inches. So, and from here to here is, I think, 42 inches, and 20s or 29s are 30 inches. So this would be a good spot for it. And this, by the way, is my 3-gallon cylinder tank. I actually haven't had fish in this for almost, well, I don't even remember how long. I don't think I've even had fish in this until in all of 2019 so far. I did just clean it out and put some culled fish in here, some bent spines and some that were kind of not in the best shape. But until then, I was just dumping Java moss into those covered with hair algae, and it just kind of turned to mush. And then I had a mosquito fish in here that was, this was serving as a banishment tank until that died. Then I just haven't had fish. Well, anyway, this is where a good spot for a big, well, not big, but another community tank. All right, so yeah, so I am heavily leaning towards setting up another tank. And I guess the favorite would be the 29-gallon. I do sort of have an idea of what I want to do. I mean, it's likely to be it's almost certainly going to be a community tank. I want to do something a little bit different than what I have right now. I mean, most of my tanks are essentially community tanks, and a lot of them have lots of Java moss in them. But I want to do one without so much Java moss, because the Java moss that I have just takes over, and I want to do more with like stem plants, and I want to try to get some either jungle val or dwarf sage growing, because I haven't had much success with those. Maybe without Java moss, or Java moss or Ricciafluitans or duckweed or anything like that. I want to have a tank without them. But yeah, so what I'm kind of thinking is, I don't have any swordtails currently, and I love swordtails. I love Xiphophorus fish, like platies that I have lots of, but I don't have any swordtails, and I think I could use some swordtails in my life. And it would have corridors and some type of either tetras or rasboras, but I'll probably end up putting the Pandagaras in there too, that are currently in my 10-gallon that I have right now. But yeah, so what would you do if you were in that spot? That's actually another reason why I was going to show these tanks, because I want to get some ideas. I want to know what you would do with those, based on, if you know what I have in my other tanks, like kind of have an idea of what my taste is, my taste in fish. But yeah, so this 20-gallon, when I got this 20 long, my plan for this was to get Crebensis. I was going to have Crebensis, corridors, and maybe a few guppies, just so that they can have babies and the Crebensis can eat the babies, and maybe some type of like tetras or rasboras or something. And this 20-gallon here, I think when I first got it, I was thinking of moving the mutt guppies in my mutt guppy 10-gallon tank into it, but now I'm thinking I'm going to use when I eventually do set it up, use it for mollies, because where I live in Las Vegas, and nearby there is a warm spring near Lake Mead. Lake Mead, that's where the Hoover Dam is. And in that warm spring, there are mollies. There's mollies and Texas cichlids, just a bunch of them. Like years ago, somewhere along the way, people put tropical fish in it, and now it's loaded with like wild mollies. I'd like to catch some and use them for that. And then, so this 10-gallon, this will be like a quarantine tank. I think what I would do with that is just use this as the quarantine tank whenever I get new fish, but I'll probably use it as a Java moss, just a place to dump Java moss that has hair algae in it. I might just put the amount of shrimp that are in my 10-gallon guppy and Endler hybrid tank in here and not feed them, so they can just clean it off. And I have a Siamese algae eater. I'll put that in there. Maybe I'll put a molly in there too, because mollies are known to eat algae. And this 5.5-gallon, I'm not really sure. I might possibly move my pea puffers into it. I have my pea puffers with my wild guppies, and that, or I might even just upgrade my 3.5-gallon Neocaridina shrimp tank, which now has wild guppy and Endler hybrids in it. And yeah, so like right here, this is a Fluval Fresh Implant 2.0. It's a 4-foot light, and I don't even have a 4-foot tank. I bought that from Aquarium Co-op when they had a sale they had a Christmas live stream a couple years ago, and I intend to get probably a 55 or probably a 75-gallon tank for that, after when I do eventually move that. And I even made a video, quick little video of a 6-foot 84-gallon tank at my local fish store. That's one that I plan to set up down the road when I buy it and set it up. But that'll be like one of my big tanks when I move eventually. So over here, in this box I have a bunch of Mopani driftwood. I did an unboxing video with that, and then some gravel in that box. And then I have this Aqua Clear 50. That's what filter I'll be using for this. I have sponge filters. Here's some of the spider wood that I got on eBay from Asia. I got some catappa leaves. Here's my API liquid test kit. I now just use strips. I rarely use those anymore. Water conditioner over here. That's Tetra AquaSafe Plus. Got a little bowl in here. That's another thing. I was just throwing Java moss in there, so it's all kind of mushy. I might set that up because I have another one like it that I put a guppy with bent spine in it just for the hell of it, and a couple shrimp, and now that guppy has had a bunch of babies and they're actually doing pretty healthy in a little 1-gallon bowl. I'll show that at some point. And then here's some of my quarantine meds as General Cure. These are little sponges. They can be used as intake sponges for hang on the back filters. I'll use that on that. But yeah, that's kind of my stuff. This is a power filter that I would use for this 20-gallon when I set it up. But yeah, if you had this Hoard, what would you use it for? But it's one of the great things about this aquarium hobby. There's always, the way I see it, there's always something to look forward to. There's always have different ideas of things that you can do in the future. It never gets boring. There's always something new that you can do. Alright, well, I guess that's it for now. And remember, I'm Jeff, and I enjoy fishies. Thanks for watching.